welcome to Touchdown Timeout. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. See the little subscribe button right there? Go ahead and push it. Guys, I have got a fantastic show for you today. This guy is a superstar in the CFL for the Edmonton Eskimos. He spent his first year in the NFL with the Vikings. He's now in Carolina with the Panthers and about to start his third season. Guys, give it up for wide receiver and punt returner, number 16, Brandon Zylstra. What's up?
Not a whole lot. Just finished meeting, so I don't know, just enjoying my off time right now.
Nice. Well, and you are actually at training camp right now. You guys just started on Tuesday, correct?
Correct.
Last time I saw you, we were at Super Bowl 54. We were hanging out. We were hanging out at the Players Gifting Suite, which was so much fun.
That's probably my favorite part of the Super Bowl. Like, that experience alone was so much fun. Like, all the people you got to meet and all the sweet stuff you got, like, that was amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it was. We had super fun. We were there for hours. Met a ton of people, and we just had such a good time. But things have been crazy since then. It feels like a whole other world now with COVID. How is your family doing?
Family's been good. It was actually kind of nice when, so like a lot of my off season, I like to go, kind of just around the U.S. to all my favorite cities because I have a bunch of friends just kind of all over. Yep. Met most of them kind of through football and whatnot, but I like to spend my off season just traveling to all these different cities. But when the quarantine happened, I happened to be in Minnesota at that time. So I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go home, spend some time with the family. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up staying there for, I don't know, it was probably like 3 months almost. And I guess that's time that I haven't got to spend with them for a long time. So it was really cool to hang out with two of my brothers. While I was back, my oldest brother had a kid.
Wow.
So I got to be an uncle for the second time. So I mean, it was really a good time off and really like a perfect time for like a quarantine.
Yeah. So as I said, you guys are in training camp right now, and we'll talk way more about that later. But first, I wanted to know, how did you get your start in football?
How did I get my start in football?
Uh-huh.
So growing up in Minnesota, I watched the Vikings. I watched Randy Moss and Chris Carter, and watching them two do what they did every Sunday, that always just kind of inspired me. And I always told myself, like, I want to do that same thing. And so that's kind of when my love first started. And then started playing at the age of actual tackle football. I think it was 5th and 6th grade. And then just kind of went off from there.
Right. Now, you went to college at Concordia, which is in Minnesota.
Correct.
And it's interesting. That's a Division III school, and not many Division III players make it to the NFL. How rough was that? And impressive.
I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. Definitely kind of makes for a unique story too, just because it is a Division III school, and it's not like I wouldn't say it's a top tier Division III school either. And we ran a triple option, so. Those who know football, being a receiver in a triple option is pretty much as low as you can go if you're trying to make it the next step to the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough, not having any scouts. Nobody even knew my name, didn't have any agents or anything. So I really had to learn everything on my own. So it was from the point of after college until, I guess, that whole kind of training camp experience is, I had to grow up quite a bit. And really just start taking things into my own hands because I had really nobody to help me. I didn't know anybody that had really gone through the ropes before. So
right.
It was a lot of failing and just kind of learning from those failures.
But you made it because you're going on your third season in the NFL. How did you figure out the audition? I don't want to say auditions, how did you figure out the combines?
Yeah, so when I graduated from Concordia, my college quarterback, the year prior, he went over to Germany, played in the GFL for a year, and he just did that to kind of, he wasn't looking to play on, he just kind of did that to go travel Europe, and he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life yet. But then after he went over there, he was super successful, he won a championship and was like MVP and stuff, and then he just said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. And so we were kind of talking back and forth, and I was just like, I want to try to play at the next level. That's something we've talked about for a while. So he moved down to Arizona. I moved down with him, and we just started training together. And from there, it was just trying to network as much as possible. So for like all the CFL tryouts I did, I ended up doing 4 of those. And how I found those was going on to all the CFL teams, looking on their websites and seeing where their tryouts are, and seeing like whatever ones were like fairly close to me, because I don't have that much money at the time either. I'm a broke college kid.
Right.
So I had to figure that budget kind of into it too. But just kind of looked on the websites, figured out which ones I can be at. So I went to those, and just from talking with other people, trying to reach out to as many people as possible, I got into the North Dakota State Pro Day, and that's when the year that Carson Wentz was coming out. So
okay.
I mean, that was pretty big for me because all 32 teams were there watching him, and so that was a great somebody to kind of try to steal some limelight from, I guess. I learned quite a bit from him just because he had all this knowledge about the NFL already and what teams are looking for and whatnot. So I got to bounce a lot of different ideas off of him.
Cool. And you actually made it to the CFL. How did that come about? Through the combines that you tried out for?
Yep. So out of those 4 tryouts I did, I got 3 contract offers from those. And since I didn't have an agent, I'm trying to sit here and finagle things myself, not knowing what I'm doing at all. And after I got that 3rd one, I was just like, you know what? I have 2 other contract offers. I'm like, I'm going to see what kind of leverage I can use now. And so I called that last CFL team that offered me a contract. And I was just like, hey, guys, you know what? I already have 2 other contract offers. And they're just like, oh, you do? And they're just like, we're going to call you back in 5 minutes.
There we go.
And so they hung up the phone. They called me back. And they're just like, so we put you on our neg list, it's called. And a neg list, all CFL teams get a neg list, and they can put 22 players on there. And if they have you on that neg list, you're not allowed to go into any other team. So when Edmonton told me this, they said, we put you on our neg list. There's like, if anybody else contacts you, let us know, because other teams could get in trouble for contacting you then. So they basically stole my rights in a way. So after that, I mean, CFL wasn't my first option, and I told them that, and they knew that. Because my dream was always to play in the NFL. So, I mean, essentially that gave me like a backup option in case the NFL didn't work out. And, essentially I ended up going up there too. So it worked out nice.
And you were Rookie of the Year your first year, and then you were All-Star for CFL your second year. So that was, congratulations. That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I really had so much fun up there. It was honestly some of the most fun football I've ever played. It took a little bit to adjust to just the different game style and whatnot, but just from the, like I said, the football up there, and then just all the relationships I made. I mean, I don't think I'd trade that for, a couple of years in the NFL.
That's cool. Well, and you ended up in the NFL, and you played with the Vikings for a year. How did it feel to sign that contract?
I mean, I was always super excited just because, like I said, that was the team I watched growing up. That's the team I knew the most history about, and I idolized some of the receivers that were before me. So it was always super cool, but I never got too excited, I guess, because I knew that there's getting to the NFL, and then there's making it in the NFL, and that's a big difference. And so I never really celebrated, never got too comfortable, because I knew that the work was kind of just beginning. And I'm still kind of at that point, because I still haven't considered myself making it in the NFL, even though it is going into year 3 yet. I'm still trying to make a splash. I'm still trying to prove my worth, and so I'm kind of saving the celebrating for later.
You have such an athlete's mentality there.
I'm a competitor, and that's what that's why I'm here. Like, that's what got me here, is just being super competitive with everything, and really just holding myself to a high standard. Right,
absolutely. Well, you were released from the Vikings, and then you were claimed off waivers by the Panthers at the end of the preseason of 2019. Was that tough to change kind of suddenly and then learn a new playbook?
I mean, yes, because so kind of how that goes is, when you get cut from a training camp, or I guess any team throughout the year, you're put on what's called a waiver wire. And so there's a 24-hour period where another team can claim you. And if a team claims you, you go there, you don't have any choice. Like, you kind of have to go there. And so it came down to I think it was like the 23rd hour. And at this point, I thought I was going back to the Vikings to sign a practice roster. I was actually on my way to the facility at the time. And on my way, I was on 494 on my way to the facility. And I got a call from the Panthers, and it's like, We just claimed you. How often can you be here? And this is noon. This is noon on Saturday. There's like, how often can you be here? There's a plane that leaves at 3, 5, and 7. There's like, pick one. And I was just like, is that quick of a turnaround?
Wow.
I was in Charlotte by like 8:30 or 9 that night. And then up at 6 a.m. the next morning doing some physicals and then right into the playbook. So there really wasn't a whole lot of time to adjust. And it was a new playbook, something that I wasn't familiar with. It was a different style of play calling, I guess. And so it did take me a little bit to kind of get used to it. And then, during this time, you have to find a house. You have to find, just where to live, learn the city. I didn't have my car down here at the time, so I had a friend and his girlfriend drive it down, and that had a bunch of my stuff in it. So once I had that, it was a little bit easier to get around and, kind of figure my way out, and I got a little bit more comfortable.
Right. Well, last season, the Panthers went through a little bit of a rough season. You guys went 5-11. Cam Newton got hurt close to the beginning of the season. Kyle Allen took over. Things went well, and then things started to go downhill rather quickly. And then by the end, Ron Rivera had been let go. What was the locker room like last season?
It was honestly kind of weird. Coach Rivera was let go. I don't exactly remember what game it was, but I think it was like game 8 or 9 kind of throughout the season. And once he left, it was just kind of a weird atmosphere in the locker room for a minute. And we had an intern head coach at the time, and we were trying to learn his coaching style because he's trying to prove himself too for a job. And so it was just kind of a weird dynamic right away. But I guess as far as the players, like, we're still playing the game we love. We're all still competing, which we love. So we still had a good time with it. It wasn't as good as it could have been because, we weren't winning, but we made sure we had some fun with it.
And going into this season, the owner, David Tepper, he's made a ton of changes. Mm-hmm. A ton of changes. I think you guys have the most changes out of any of the 32 teams right now. I
wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. The most significant change is head coach Matt Rule. What is it like working with him?
It's been cool. I've yet to meet him in person. During OTAs, he would jump on, a couple times a week and talk to us and just kind of told us about what he's looking for, his coaching style, kind of what he preaches, what he's kind of done in the past, what he's looking to do in the future, how he's trying to mold this team. And so, we have a pretty good idea of what he's looking for now. So now it's going to be fun once we all get out there to go prove that, we're the missing piece, I guess, to this team, that we fit into this team, we fit into what he's looking for. But he seems like a great coach. He knows exactly what he wants. He's a big philosophical guy, so a lot of people kind of follow him with that. I can see why he had success.
Right. He did great at Temple. Philly, so I follow Temple, and all my family went to Temple, so
yeah. There's a lot of Temple guys on the team now.
Yeah, PJ Walker was just signed. Yep. OTAs. You guys had OTAs? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so we did. It ended up all being virtual. So it was 2-hour meetings 4 times a week. So it was Monday through Thursday just for 2 hours. And then like teams had the option of doing like a virtual workout, but Coach Rule just came on. He's just like, you guys are professional athletes. You guys know how to take care of yourselves. And if you're not, it's going to show later. So basically, go be a professional. Go do what you do. So they weren't too strict, I guess, about that. But they still sent us, different workouts to follow if we wanted. But a lot of guys in the off season will go to wherever they're training or wherever their strength and conditioning coaches are and work with those. So, but there was the availability of our team's strength and conditioning coordinator to do some of his workouts.
Right, and what did you do?
I did a little bit of everything. Before quarantine started, I was with a strength and conditioning coach in Minneapolis, and then I went back home and was doing like my own stuff because that's what I studied in college too, and I've been all over the country working with a bunch of different coaches and stuff. So I know what works for me. I know what my body likes and doesn't like. And so I've mixed a little bit of the stuff I've learned with a little bit of what the Panthers were doing, and just kind of integrated my own kind of workouts.
Very cool. Well, back to changes. like I said, a ton of changes. I know Luke Kuechly retired. He's now in the front office. Greg Olson's now at the Seahawks. Graham Gano literally was cut today.
Yeah.
I was sad to see that alert. Kyle Allen is in Washington. Cam Newton now a Patriot. It's crazy. And the preseason now is not happening. It went from 4 games to 2 games.
Yeah.
1 game to nothing.
Yep.
So you guys don't have that to practice either. Do you see that as a positive or a negative?
I mean, you can really look at it either way. I guess if you're going to look at it as a positive, the team's going to want to get ready for the season. So they're most likely going to rely on veterans at that point, because it takes a minute for the rookies to get up to speed. But at the same time, I'm a veteran with a heavy veteran receiving core right now. And so I really have to fight during practice to prove my worth without actually doing it on a game. So
are you guys tight? Are you guys trying to help each other out, or are you kind of in friendly competition?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a friendly competition. We've been in meetings with those guys. A lot of time when we did those meetings during OTAs and the meetings we're doing now, a lot of time we're breaking up into the receiver group. So it's all of us just kind of in the same thing. And so we hear each other talk. A bunch of us have met up outside of it. So I don't know, I guess the way I look at it, the way I always perceive it is I'm going to continue to push the ones around me, because that's only going to make me better. Because like I said, I'm a competitor. I thrive off the competition. So if the competition around me is getting better, I'm naturally going to do better. So I have no problem, giving pointers, trying to help people out, correcting people, having people correct me. I think it's all good, because essentially, you're making your team better.
Absolutely. Now you're in training camp right now. You guys started on Tuesday. A lot of newness. You're not at Wilford College in South Carolina anymore. You guys have been there for years.
Yep.
You're going to have training camp at Bank of America Stadium. How's it going in general?
Again, it's been the most interesting training camp I've ever been a part of, because we've been here, we started on Tuesday, but the only time I've ever been to the facility so far is to go get a nasal swab and an antibody test. We're actually not allowed into the facility until we have 2 negative COVID tests.
Okay.
And so the rookies started a while ago, and they're actually in there and they're working out, as well as a few of the injured players. But as far as the veterans, a lot of us haven't even been in there yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on meetings, they've kind of told us how meetings are going to be ran, or not how meetings are going to be, how the facility's kind of going to be ran and whatnot. But I mean, for the most part, we're going into it completely blind, and we're going to have to learn on the fly, just like everything else. This COVID just really messed everything up, and it makes everything super interesting, confusing, and chaotic, and everything's just kind of a headache right now. But it's just really learning to adapt to the situations.
Right. I think there's a headache everywhere around the world right now. I think everyone's having that. We just want it all to go away. So you guys, normally you guys stay in dorms during training camp. What is going on? Are you guys staying in hotels? Are you quarantined? Are you not? Are you at your house? What's going on?
Yeah, so they actually gave us the option of either staying in the hotel or staying at, some people have Airbnb, some people have houses. I just happened to be with one of my old teammates from Minnesota, Stephen Weatherly. He bought a house down here. He just signed a contract this year here. And so when I moved down a month and a half ago, I moved into here. And then when we found out for training camp that we can live at home, I was just like, you know what? I would much rather live here than the hotel. So I've been posted up here since.
With the season coming, there's a possibility that there'll be no fans in the stadium. Thank you, COVID. Or limited fans. How do you feel that's going to affect the game?
It's going to be a lot less energy, because I know there's a lot of players out there that really feed off the fans' energy. A lot of people like to entertain the fans and whatnot. And so with all that there, I think it's going to be interesting. But I know there's a lot of players out there, and I'm actually one of these kind of guys that, the fans are all just kind of white noise to me. I don't really notice them per se. But I mean, in a sense, you still do feel their energy, but I don't really notice them. There's so much else going on during the game that if you were to pay attention to the fans, you're going to get knocked out. So I don't know.
That's not what you want to do.
I'm not trying to, I'm scared of the CTE too.
Right.
So.
There's a lot of players that are opting out right now for health reasons, and there's good reason. Has that idea crossed your mind? Are you worried about being safe?
No, I guess I'm at a point in my life right now where, I don't have any like family close around me that I guess I'm really worried about getting sick. And this is such a, pivotal time in my career, being, kind of coming into like a contract year for me. So just kind of weighing out those options, I thought it was kind of, for me, it was a no-brainer to play. It'd be different too if I had a kid, if I had a wife or something else that I had to worry about. But being that it's only me, I was okay with playing.
Do you think there's going to be a season?
I do. We had NFL PA calls twice a week for the last month or so, and so they've tried to inform us quite a bit on kind of what's going on and what to look for, and how safety is going to be a number one priority and whatnot. And I think we have a pretty good idea of what's to come and how to kind of keep us safe. Granted, it's, like I said, it's going to be a little hectic, a little chaotic. It probably wouldn't be as fun as a normal season. But we're still playing the game we love. Like I said, like the NFL career is so short, so I'm just trying to take advantage of every opportunity I can. But I do think there will be a season unless people start actually traveling and playing against other teammates and whatnot. That's the only time I think that there could be an outbreak between all of us. But they do a pretty good job of keeping us safe, and we have pretty strict protocols we follow, and we get tested. Right now, it's going to start to turn out to be like every other day or whatnot. So like they're staying on top of everything for sure.
Right. What's some of the protocol besides the testing?
So like I said, we need 2 negative tests before we actually get into the facility, and then once we're in the facility, I think they said it's like every other day right now. We're going to get tested. They're going to have monitors on us that will start to beep if you're within 6 feet of somebody. So it's just like kind of like a constant reminder. I think they said like all the doors now are automated, so they're going to be opening, so you don't have to touch them. When we're in the weight room, we're down to, I think they just said it was like groups of 15, and then they have our normal weight room, and they put another one outside, and they put another one in our bubble, just so they can try to get like 45 guys at once, but in 3 separate groups. They'll be wiping down all the machines. All of our lockers are spaced out now with 2 gaps in between everybody, and so they had to actually create new lockers. Like I said, the meetings have been virtual, so like there's quite a bit that kind of went into it to make sure that we're as safe as possible.
What are your hopes for the season for you personally?
Like I said, I'm still looking for that breakout year. I happened to get that towards the end of my second year in the CFL, so it came a little quicker. And I've been trying to be patient, with the NFL, just because it is a big change, and you are, top 1% of the world playing against the best in the world. And so I've tried to be patient with it, but this is year 3. I'm ready to actually get going, to actually start to make a difference on the team, to be a playmaker, something the coaches and the quarterbacks can trust, somebody that my teammates can trust and don't have to worry about me. I'm just really trying to make a splash and just really. It's really proved to myself as well as everybody else that I can be a real player in this league.
And your hopes for the team?
To win. Like I said, they were hard to come by last year, so I'm hoping that we can rack up quite a few more than we did last year.
Awesome. Well, Brennan, thank you so much for being here today with me. I appreciate it so much. Best of luck. I know you're going to make a smash this year, or splash, as you put it. I'll definitely will be watching. Best of luck. Keep healthy, keep safe, all that stuff. Hopefully I see you guys this coming Super Bowl. Hopefully you will be on the field, though, playing in the Super Bowl. So we'll hope for that. And guys out there in the audience, thank you so much for joining in. Again, if you liked what you saw, there's more of this every week. Please subscribe. And football forever. Much love.